Tempelhof is the most visited venue on the Formula E calendar. We've come here every year bar one since Formula E began, and we've seen 15 different winners in that time, and in recent years, domination from Porsche and Jaguar. But what will happen in 2026? Welcome to the HANKOOK Berlin ePrix. Well, let's take a closer look at the circuit then. Round 7 and 8 of season 12 come to you from Tempelhof in Berlin, and this is going to be an exciting one. We love this circuit, the drivers love it, and the fans love it as well. An anti-clockwise layout and quite a short track, 2.3 kilometers, 15 turns in total. You can see the fastest race lap held by Nyck Cassidy from last year here. And we come down through turn 1, a left-handed kink, but we're braking into turn 2. That's where attack mode is activated for the drivers. In the race, they'll get an extra 50 kilowatts of power and all-wheel drive. Just one deployment for round 7 here today, as it's a pit boost race. Turn 6 and 7, an overtaking zone, hard on the brakes. You can sling one through on the inside. Then it tightens up through turns 9 and 10, and then we come into the technical triple apex left-hander, which brings us on to the start-finish straight. We've seen 3 abreast on some occasions here at this circuit, but what will happen here today, we'll await to find out. And of course, pit boost to remind you for the drivers to contend with as well. Felix da Costa in row 5 there as well. There is Max Gunther, there is Taylor Barnard, and da Costa alongside him. Those two drivers, Barnard and da Costa, were quickest in FP1 and FP2 respectively, but they both failed to make the duels. Felipe Drugovich, his second career top 10 start. He'll be aiming for his first points though of season 12, where he scored points on his debut for Mahindra last year. Zane Maloney, his career best qualifying and his first ever dual appearance for P7 on the grid. Nico Muller, his second consecutive top 10 start in Tempelhof, and Nyck Cassidy won this race from down in 20th in 2025 for Jaguar. Dan Ticktum has his best qualifying since the front row in Sao Paulo to begin the season, and it's an all-British row 2 with reigning world champion Oliver Rowland alongside in 3rd on the grid. Pascal Wehrlein has his first front row start in Formula E since he got pole here 12 months ago, and Edoardo Mortara gets his 4th pole in Berlin, his 3rd of 2020. Will he be able to command himself to victory, or will Edoardo Mortara take Mahindra's first victory in a very long time in Formula E? We now wait for the 5 red lights to come on as we get ready for a barnstormer in Berlin. As the lights go out and we go racing, good start from Mortara, nice one as well from Pascal Wehrlein, but look at Oliver Rowland coming through on the outside. He's side by side with Wehrlein up the front row, and then you've got the Citroen on the inside there as well as they go 2 by 2 into turn 1, but Edoardo Mortara manages to retain the lead. Ollie Rowland through into 2nd, Wehrlein down into 3rd place. Cassidy still side by side with Dan Ticktum in the Cupra Kiro as they come on the exit of turn 3 through turn 4 and down on the run into the heavy braking zone on the head into turn 6 and 7.
I think Rowland and Wehrlein will be very happy this phase of the race, just sitting behind Edoardo Mortara, saving as much energy as possible.
Side by side there in the background as well, you've got Felipe Drugovich, who's going toe-to-toe with Nico Muller in the pink Porsche. Zane Maloney also looking to the outside there of Nyck Cassidy. Can't quite make anything stick as they come through the exit of turn 9, but a textbook start there for Edoardo Mortara. He's leading from the front, but is he going to try and hold that position for the rest of this sort of first stint while we're expecting drivers to conserve energy, Katie?
Yeah, very respectful racing from everyone. No one's really trying anything special. I think everybody's really concerned with the energy and not wanting to waste energy battling on too early. It's also worth saying that no driver has retired at all for the last 2 Formula E races, so maybe we're on to something there.
I really hope we're not tempting fate. Side by side with Drugovich and Muller down into the first corner. You've got Ticktum as well, and there is Zane Maloney on his inside. Cassidy looking to try and attack as well as he's got Ticktum now to his outside. It will flick to the inside line as they come through into the right-hander, and Ticktum manages to hold position in front of Cassidy there for now, and also in front of Zane Maloney as well. So Muller there in 7th place as we ride on board with him. Not hanging about here now. We're starting to see the elbows coming out for Nyck Cassidy, so he underconsumed a few laps ago, dropped back in terms of track position, and he's decided to throw caution to the wind, and someone's thrown it at the barrier there as they take a bit of advertising for him.
Oh, very close for somebody. It was one of the leaders, wasn't it? I don't know who that was, but the rear right definitely scraping against the wall. Nyck Cassidy now leading from Ollie Rowland. I think Nyck Cassidy just wants to get on with this a little bit now. He doesn't want to get stuck in P6 or P7. Was it Degrassi touching the wall or Zane Maloney? Let's have a look. I think that's Zane Maloney getting a little bit wide out of the final corner. Yes, I believe it was.
Yeah, so Degrassi here are on board with on his inside. There's his teammates on the outside. We're going to see a bit of advertising when he comes on. Not quite on that occasion, but Yeah, very close quarters there between the lowly Yamaha app team. That would have raised the pulse of Mark Preston, the team principal in the garage, as we look at De Grassi on the inside. 3 abreast down into 9 and 10. You don't often make a move into there because the circuit really does funnel up. But the man who's announced his retirement from Formula E now leads a race in his final season.
See, us old drivers, we've still got stuff left. Come on, Lucas. Let's go. What a move. Great to see Lola having such a great day in the sun here in Berlin. Great to see Lucas at a track that he's been so good at in the past, showcasing what talent he's got left.
Closing in on that pit boost window, lap 15 to 24 is where we're expecting that pit boost window to be. It's when the battery is between 60 to 40% state of charge. And
Lola are now first and second.
So you have the same energy than Cassidy. 3 cars in front of you have 1% less. From T7 onwards, they have 1% more than you.
Rowland make this one stick, or is Cassidy just going to hold firm in the lead for now? He is.
It's worth saying as well that none of the drivers have actually used their attack mode in the early part of this race. It looks like everyone's waiting until after they've pitted, and then they want to see how the second part of the race plays out. It's worth saying also that there's been a safety car at 75% of the races here in Berlin as the action heats up towards the end of the races. So I think, you know, there's going to be some strategy there to try and time it right to protect their track position towards the later part.
Yeah, extra 10% worth of energy in pit boost. As we said, it's all funneling and bottlenecking up into that crucial turns 9 and 10 corner. Porsche just throwing a bit of a dummy there to try and maybe spook some of the other teams into going through. And we understand that Verline might have a puncture here as well. We'll wait and see what the outcome is of that. He's down in 15th position and dropping down the order at the moment. Here he is on board with Pascal Wehrlein, and he's going tumbling down the order as Pascal Wehrlein. Rear left as we look at it, rear right for him, and he's going to come into the pit box here, and that's going to compromise his race and absolutely ruin any chance of victory here for the German driver today.
That's the problem with being back in the pack.
It's going to be pit boost and then tyre change.
I mean, they can still salvage something from the race, given his pace and the performance that he's had, but this is the problem, Tom. Sometimes when you're further back, you get into scenarios and situations where you get involved in other drivers. The likes of Cassidy and Rowland out front, and Mortara just staying out there, staying clean towards the front. That's a strategy that's just a bit easier. Yes, Wehrlein could have saved a little bit more energy, but when you're fighting with the mid-pack, it can cost you.
So, Da Costa, Ticktum, Drugovic, all in for their pit boost stops. Wehrlein also in as well, but we know he's going to do a tyre change, and we're expecting the pit loss time to be around the 56, 57 second mark or so, which is going to be incredibly tight. Lap times were around the 1 minute 3 second margin, and there is the tyre being changed. Actually, the front right, the offside front for Pascal Wehrlein, the tyre that needed changing. I thought it was the rear right, but yeah, front right tyre there for him, so clearly there's been some contact.
And as you can see, he's a lap down by quite an amount, so it's going to take something special for him to come back to the points.
Well, the important thing is here for the likes of Ticktum and Da Costa, etc., who all came in last time around, they have come out ahead of the leaders, which is exactly what they wanted to do. If you end up behind, you've then got to fight your way through traffic, and that's not easy because the pace is starting to... He's going to go into attack mode at the start of lap 28. Nico Muller goes through. Where does he emerge, though? He drops behind Maloney. He drops behind Taylor Barnard, but he'll have an extra 50 kilowatts of power and all-wheel drive here. So you would imagine it'll be easy pickings for the Swiss driver. On board we ride then here with Nico Muller. Is he going to scythe past the DS Penske as we come down into turns 6 and 7? Can he make it stick? He's through on the inside. That's one job done then. Through on the DS Penske driver for P5 for now.
So if the positions stay like this, Edo Mortara would take the lead of this championship.
So on board here with Edoardo Mortara, he's through for third place. I mean, he would be into the lead of the championship if it stands as it is for now, because Pascal Wehrlein's down in last place, not scoring any points. Muller goes through, though, on the Swiss driver, through for third place, rather.
This is all really good by Nico Muller. The only concern that I've got is, has he gone too early on his attack? He's got the energy, he's in attack mode, he will get to the front as he does now, but is this too early? 10 laps to go. How's everybody else going to react as Nyck Cassidy now goes into attack?
Oh, that's difficult for him, though, because he's come out behind the two drivers he really didn't want to, of Maloney and Taylor Barnard. Now he's got to fight his way through. Only 6 minutes, of course, of attack mode remaining for the drivers in this race. One deployment here in Berlin. Cassidy's going to have to make light work of Maloney as he scythes his way to the inside line down at turn 6. That's one job done then. Next target will be Taylor Barnard. He'll have great attraction on the exit of the corner. Has he got the opportunity to sling one through on the inside into turns 9 and 10? It's decisive, it's clinical, it's clear, and it's fourth place then for Nyck Cassidy. So lap 35, we begin then. Nico Muller that leads. Coming to the end of the attack mode, though, is Nyck Cassidy. Where's the gap going to be between himself and Oliver Rowland? It's about 2.8 seconds or so. He's done very well, as you see Taylor Barnard there, side by side with Antonio Felix da Costa. Da Costa's now at the end of attack mode. Barnard's still got another 50 seconds left in his pocket, and he's being decisive about it. Driving standards flag there for Pepe Marti as well. That's down at turn 2. We saw him being pretty robust between himself and Zane Maloney a couple of laps ago, and unfortunately for all of the promise that we saw in the opening stages of this race for the two Yamaha Apt cars, they're now sitting outside of the points positions, with Maloney in 11th and Degrassi down there in 12th. So Nico Muller leads the race, but Google Gemini says he only holds a 31% win probability.
I'd love to know why that is, because he's 3.7 seconds up the road. Rowland's just about to come out of attack and go back to standard power, as is Mortara. I think this is Nico Muller's to lose now, Tom.
As you can see, no career victories for Nico Muller so far in Formula E, but he could be set to break that duck here today. His 69th start in Formula E, as we're side by side with Mitch Evans versus Pepe Marti, who's now leading Cupra Kiro's charge. You've got Taylor Barnard in the mix there as well, so three drivers starting to squabble. This will be music to the ears of Jake Dennis, who sits in 8th place. 2 minutes of attack mode remaining, and it's going to be closing that gap down as they start fighting. There is Jake Dennis, who's right on board, and 3 drivers all ready for the taking. Here we go on the outside of Taylor Barnard. Here we go also on the outside of Pepe Marti. Can he get 2 for the price of 1? No, not quite. On the exit of the corner, though, he'll have greater traction. He's going to switch to the outside line as we come into turn 9. Marti tries to defend it, and Dennis has to go the long way round, but he'll have greater traction once more, and now he's alongside, and now he's through on the Spaniard for P6.
Yeah, great stuff from Jake Dennis. I think what we saw was he didn't necessarily miss the activation zones, but maybe he didn't arm the attack zone. So that's what we think happened to Jake Dennis. But he's coming through nicely now.
If you consider that
we at the moment have 1% more than Cassidy in P2.
If you consider that he's probably lost a couple of seconds, let's say 1.5 to 2 seconds, based off of those 2 attack mode deployments, that would have brought him right in contention for sort of the top 5 positions in this race, had that not happened. At the moment, he's facing a top 5 finish, which will be something of a salvage job here for Jake Dennis. He's now attacking against the number 9 of Mitch Evans in the Jaguar, and goes through for the move.
Nice move, but do you know what? I think he might be derating, because looking at the power down the previous straight, he's not pulling away from Mitch Evans, and he certainly wasn't closing in a straight line. I don't think that car is working at full 350 kilowatts at the moment. Meanwhile, at the front, Nico Muller doing an absolutely stunning job, I've got to say.
Yeah, this is the best we've seen from Nico Muller. You can see as they blast past the grandstand with Porsche flags lining it here in Berlin. It has been an absolutely wonderful drive for him as we begin the penultimate lap of action. And all he needs to do is just continue exactly what he's doing so far. He's got 4.6 seconds in his pocket. He's got a little bit more energy relative to Nyck Cassidy, and given the fact that his teammates...
The tires, man. My problem is not the tires. I have no power. Cool the car.
So da Costa is derating, and he's struggling with battery temperatures. We talked about it before the start of the race, and that proves to be the problem there for the most recent double race winner.
Yeah, absolutely, and it looks like Rowland has caught up to the back of Cassidy, so that fight for second is back on.
Yep, certainly is, and you've got Edoardo Mortara, who's right there watching the proceedings unfold in front of him. If they start squabbling, it could open the door here for the Swiss driver. Jake Dennis now out of attack mode, but a little bit more energy relative to the 3 in front of him. Is he going to be able to use that in the closing stages of this one as we begin the final lap's worth of action here in Berlin? There is Nico Muller in the Porsche across the line, and the fans absolutely loving this one as he comes through into turns 1 and 2. And just to finish my thoughts earlier on, you know, obviously Pascal Wehrlein was in a great position at the start of this race, being on the front row of the grid, and we saw the 2 Porsches dropping back, working together. Obviously that puncher is really what's cost the German driver here, but Muller has picked up the gauntlet very well.
Well, interestingly as well, it was the same tyre that he hit the wall in qualifying earlier today, so there's something about that side of the car today.
So this battle for the podium is still not over as Mortara looks to the outside of Oliver Rowland. Is he going to get the switchback on the inside? We're going to come through on the run into turns 9 and 10, the last real overtaking opportunity. And Rowland defends the line here against Edoardo Mortara. He'll try and switch it back, but there's no room. Rowland defends, holds the line on the inside as we see Nico Muller coming through into the final series of corners on his 69th attempt. He will become a race winner in Formula E in front of Porsche's home crowd here. Nico Muller exits the final corner, blasts to the checkered flag here in Berlin and wins the ePrix. Absolutely superlative drive from Nico Muller. Nyck Cassidy in second, and Rowland does hold on for the final podium place against Edoardo Mortara in third position as well. Delight for the Porsche team. The Pink Pigs pounce to the checkered flag as they take victory here on home soil. What a race, what a drive from Nico Muller, and he finally gets his first win in the championship. Let's go down and talk to Nico Muller, Katie.
Nico, it's Katie here in the commentary box. Congratulations, you have just won the Berlin ePrix, a home race for Porsche. How does that feel?
Wow, thank you, Katie. Unbelievable home race for Porsche, 75th anniversary of Porsche Motorsport. An awesome livery, awesome fans, family on site. Not much more to ask for. Thank you very much. Thanks, Jake. Thanks, Bud.
An amazing strategy there. You've won by almost 5 seconds in that race. Was that a strategy that was called by the team before, or was that made up as you were going along and dealing with the battery temperatures?
Winner from Porsche Formula E team is
Now time for the winner though, the man of the moment on his 69th attempt in Formula E. He finally becomes a race winner. It's been a long time coming for Nico Muller, and there was a bit of doubt and scepticism about his appointment within the factory Porsche team going into season 12. However, he has certainly silenced those critics. His first pole and now his first victory.
Absolutely. Do you know what? Nico's such a nice, humble guy. I'm super happy for him. It's been a long time. He's got an awful lot of talent, and there he is with his kids. Absolutely brilliant to see, and yeah, very, very pleased for him. What a win this is. He'll remember this for a very, very long time.
Yeah, great job with his kids there on the podium, and he's going to make his way up onto the top step with his young son there as well. As you say, couldn't be a nicer chap, Nico Muller, and yeah, he'll be delighted with that one. Not much time to enjoy though, because of course we get to do it all again in less than 24 hours time. Muller now elevates himself up into third place in the driver's standings as a result of that victory. Good job from him, and really capitalising where Pascal Wehrlein was unable to after that unfortunate puncture for the Season 10 World Champion, demoted him out of a point-scoring position. Wehrlein eventually finishing in P19. But Nico Muller then, the man of the moment here in Berlin, and it's now time then to celebrate to Mitch Evans. Mitch eventually who finished in P6. Kai Wegner, the governing mayor of Berlin, though, awards the winner's trophy to the Swiss driver Nico Muller, a winner in Formula E for the first time here in Berlin. What a result for the factory Porsche team. They will be absolutely delighted with that one in front of their home crowd, with all of the officials and the members of the board here this weekend. And what a great place to do it, and what a great place for the 34-year-old from Switzerland to take his first ever win within this championship. Great job from Nico Muller, and indeed from the remaining top 3 finishers here in Berlin in the resplendent